Jai Hind students, I hope you all are fit and fine. We are going to start the chapter India after Independence. And in the first module, we will discuss a new India and definitely a divided nation. The challenges which came in front of our country during the independence and at the period of time when India was divided into two other nations, India and Pakistan. So, when India became independent in August 1947, it faced a series of very great challenges. As a result of the partition, around 8 million refugees from Pakistan they came into the country. These people had to be found homes and jobs. Then there was the problem of the princely state, almost 500 of them, each ruled by the Maharajas or a Nawab, each of whom had to be persuaded to join the new nation. The problems of the refugees and of the princely state had to be addressed immediately. In the longer term, the nation had to adopt a political system that would best serve the hopes and expectations of its population. India's population in 1947 was large, almost 345 million. It was also divided. There were divisions between the high caste, low caste, between the majority of Hindu community and Indians, other Indians who practiced other faiths. The citizens of this vast land spoke many different languages. They had different food habits, different kinds of dresses they used to wear. So all such diversity became a challenge for our country. And to the problem of unity was added the problem of development. At independence, the vast majority of Indians lived in the villages, so farmer and peasants depended on the monsoon for their survival. So, did the non farm sector of the rural economy, and for if the crops failed or if the crops are not of good quality, so the people of other occupations like barbers, carpenters, weavers, they were also not paid for their services. So in this way, as we did not have other developed occupation in our country at that period of time, industries were also not of means large quantity. So definitely our, as you all know, that agriculture is the backbone of our country. So definitely at that period of time that was also a great challenge for us. Then unity and development had to go hand in hand. First of all, we had the problem, we had the conflict between the races, between the class, high class, the people of high class and lower class. Caste discrimination already we had. So there were several issues which we had, and along with means like by coping with all such conflicts, we had to bring development as well. So you can say it was means maximum portion of our country was ruined. And when the Britishers left our country, so definitely the wealth and the most precious means things of our country were plundered. That also you all know. So this was the country which was about to develop, and we have started after independence in this way. Now we will discuss about the constitution. Between December 1946 and November 1949, some of 300 Indians had a series of meetings on the country's political future. The meeting of this constituent assembly were held in New Delhi, but the participants came from all over the country and from different political parties as well. These discussions resulted in the framing of Indian constitution, and that which came into the effect on 26th of January 1950. That the day 26th of January, we always every year we celebrate as the Republic Day. India became republic on that day. One feature of the constitution was its adoption of universal adult franchise, where all the Indian above the age of 21 at that period of time, later on there were again amendment and now it is 18, the age is 18. They would be allowed to vote in state and national elections. This was revolutionary step, for never before had Indians been allowed to choose their own leaders. And just like in other countries such as United Kingdom, UK or United States, US, these rights had been granted in stages. Means first only the men of property had the vote, then the educated people, educated men had that right, voting right, and then the working class people, working class men got the same right after a long struggle. The second feature of the constitution was that it was guaranteed equality before the law to all the citizens, regardless there were like the other caste or the religious affiliations. There were other Indians who wished that the political system of the new nation be based on Hindu ideals and that India itself be run as a Hindu state. They pointed to the example of Pakistan, a country created explicitly to protect the further the interest of a particular religious community. Here in our country, besides Muslims, India had large population of Sikh and Christians as well as many Parsis and Jains. So, the first Prime Minister of our country, Jawaharlal Nehru, his opinion was that India could not and even must not India become a Hindu Pakistan. Means as Pakistan always gave importance to the Muslim community, but here in our country we will means give the same opportunity, same duties, same rights to each and every citizen of our country, irrespective of their castes, whether they are of means they are Muslim, they are Hindu, Sikh, Jains, Christian, whatever caste they belong to, but they all will be equal. They will have the equality. The third feature of constitution was that it offered special privileges to the poorest and the most disadvantaged Indians. Here, one more thing, that the upper caste who were responsible for Harijans being unfit today, they were always suppressed. So, Harijans were also provided reservations so that they can also develop their, they can also uplift their condition, their social condition, their economical condition, they can also be educated and other sources as well. As I discussed about the power of central government versus state government were discussed. Provinces with greater autonomy and freedom were also. Three lists like union, state, and concurrent, that is forest and agriculture, that was also divided. Then there was also a problem. Initially it was a problem only, that Hindi, as after leaving British government, it was decided that Hindi should be the official language. Means Hindi should take the place of English. But there were also problem, means conflict, that many South Indians, they protested. They said that if Hindi will be the official language, then they will means they will not participate in this country and they will demand for their own nation. So that is the reason Hindi was made the official language of our country and English would be the second language, you can say, or the language which will be used in the courts, services, and communication between one state to another state. We all know that B.R. Ambedkar, who is known as the father of Indian Constitution, and he was the chairman of drafting committee under whom document was finalized. So political democracy along with economy and social democracy also took place. Now we will talk about formation of the state. In 1920, Indian National Congress promised after independence each major linguistic group will have its own province. Both Prime Minister Nehru and Deputy Prime Minister Vallabhbhai Patel were against the creation of linguistic state nation must be united to check disruptionist tendencies, and strongest protest that was formed generally in Telugu speaking. I mean, they asked for their Andhra, their own state. And when it was granted, when Andhra became the Andhra Pradesh on 1st of October 1953, other states, other means areas of southern India, they also started asking, they also started demanding for their own nations. Means own nations means own states, not nations. Sorry here. States Recognition Reorganization Commission was set up and redrawing of the district and provincial boundaries to form compact provinces of Assamese, Bengali, Odia, Tamil, Malayalam, Kannada and Telugu speakers. In 1960, bilingual states of Bombay was divided into Marathi and Gujarati, and in 1966 Punjab was divided into Punjab Sikh and Haryana, that was Haryanvis or Hindi. So this much only we will discuss in this module. Till then, thank you. Jai Hind.